Black women want to see us flourish.
Yeah.
They want to see us flourish in every way possible. And what I hate so much is the way social media continues to pin us against each other. Black women are the reason Black men's style is what it is.
What are some examples that you're seeing that irritate you?
Man, some of these podcasts, man. Oh my God. Some of these podcasts.
Talk about it.
Everything black on black. If I studied that facts on facts.
Welcome back to the Black is the New Rich podcast. And today we got a very special guest. Honestly, I've been watching his movement from afar and I would consider him a community leader. He's doing a lot of great things in the community especially on how Black men are perceived. And I respect that a lot. I feel like he runs events that are super different and they're super organic and they just have a lot going on. And I wanted to pick his brain about running events, but I don't want to keep on talking. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Samuel Tita. I am the founder of Black Men's Style.
Dope. So for people that don't know, what exactly is Black Men's Style?
So Black Men's Style is a movement. It is a not-for-profit organization. So what Black Men's Style is about changing the dominant narrative and the perception of how Black men are viewed, but then also making sure that we do, bring our men, from the community together so we can, mobilize together as a unit. So that's,
Okay, dope. So in the summer, I see it was probably 200 men dressed up, looking fly as ever. Mm-hmm. That's your thing. And what inspired that? What inspired that, the suit and tie look for you?
So to kind of take it all back, how it all started was all based off of an experience. Mm-hmm. Now I got to be a part of one that was in the States, and I saw and I felt the impact of what it was capable of. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you know what, there wasn't anything like this in Canada, and there was a lot going on. It was like this summer, I think it was 2018, 2019.
The George Floyd era?
No, it was prior. It was prior to this. Okay. It was before that, was when we really started. I think that was the year we lost Smoke Dogg.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes.
It was that summer. So that whole ordeal happened and I was really like, you know what, I don't like this divide. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not happy with it at all. It's not a great feeling.
Didn't feel good.
Not at all. So, I had seen that, something I'd seen that they were having, this kind of a movement happening in the States. So I was like, you know what, that seemed like a great opportunity. One, to network for business stuff and everything like that, because I was looking to do some business over there. So, flew down and was a part of it. And I really saw, the way the guys were, communicating amongst each other, the whole networking aspect of it. There was brothers who were there who were, police officers, and they were giving advice, to other Black men, what to do and what not to do, from a Black man to a Black man. Right. So I was like, you know what? Let me bring that over to Canada. Let's see, what it can do. I know what it did for me. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I know this could do something for other brothers.
As an experience.
Exactly. So the very first one, we had about, I think it was 11, 12 guys.
Yeah. The first one only had 11, 12.
Yeah. For what is one. Yeah. Okay. In comparison to what it is now. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. So, it's really, the impact is there. I knew what it was capable of. Yeah. All to the point that even, those guys from the States decided to come down. Wow. And, we did one together. Right. So, that is definitely, what I knew was, could come of it. So, yeah.
So what exactly goes on on that day?
So on that day, so I have, the videographers and photographers. So for the most part, we start off, just kind of organizing the guys into, different groups and everything like that. For the most part, a lot of the guys, they get down there. It's like a Black men's business meeting.
Yeah.
Right?
It looks like
so that's exactly what it is. So, I encourage guys to come with their business cards.
Amazing.
And, swap social networks and everything like that. And so while everybody's there, that's typically what's going on.
Just a big networking.
Just a big networking event.
Oh, that's
dope. Big networking event, for our Black men. and a lot of them get, they get pictures, be it for their LinkedIn, for any of their social medias, because not everybody gets a chance to dress up and and everything like that. So that's the opportunity for them to do that, and they get to update their files, but then also I guess it's a safe space for those men as well, right? They really get to talk about things that they don't typically get to talk about, because we have guys there who, lawyers, guys who are therapists, social workers. Had one brother, he's a surgeon.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You don't see that too much.
You don't see
in our
exactly. There you go. But now he's practicing over in the UK right now.
Okay, amazing.
So just these brothers who if anything haven't gotten a chance to be amongst those kind of guys now get the chance to be amongst those guys, right? So yeah, it's definitely a confidence booster.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, dope. So I was doing my research for this podcast, right? And I've noticed you've been well dressed, well spoken. So I was scrolling, I was doing my research. You have a twin sister?
Yes, I do.
Yes, twin sister. And then I come across a picture of your parents. And I seen a picture of your parents. I'm like, wow, there's a story to how he was raised. Tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
Man, where do I begin? My mom and dad.
They just look bold. bold.
No, my parents are very intentional. My father, he is more of the public speaker.
Oh, dope.
He is an ordained pastor. He's an ordained pastor now.
Okay.
But he's always been, preaching and everything like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, he is also an author. And typically, I guess, kind of wind it back down, my upbringing with my parents. My parents, they had us pretty young. My mom and dad, I think they were about like 20, 21.
Okay.
Was when they had us, my sister and I, my twin sister. And I think a lot of it had to do with my father and my mother being, very present in my life, very active in our lives.
It shows.
100%. Be it, after school activities or just even, stuff at home. And so I guess, one of the things I really did talk about was, me going to, me being put into a Black focused school. I did summer school there. And I did Saturday school there.
Amazing.
And the school was called Higher Marks.
That's down here?
Yes. So initially they were down in Bathurst.
Okay.
And then they moved over to Scarborough. And the reason for that was because now the TDSB, they used to do these little interviews before you got into high school.
Yeah.
And yet they had told my mother that they didn't have any hope for me. They thought that, if anything, I might not even make it to the 10th grade.
Jeez.
Maybe join a gang.
Were you getting into trouble at that time, or?
Not. I have never been suspended.
Really? Was
never.
it your environment or your people who you're hanging with? Like, where did that notion come from?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you why they came up with that assumption, because, like I said, I'd never been suspended.
Yeah.
I wasn't a child that ever really got in trouble.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I grew up in Galloway.
Okay.
Southside Galloway, right at Galloway and Kingston. And I can only assume that, the area, but I mean, there was a lot of brilliant minds that came out of Galloway, right? And a lot of other brilliant Black minds that come out of all these other neighborhoods.
Yeah.
It's just, a lot of the community is disadvantaged. So why they came up with that assumption,
who knows?
I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we know, but who knows?
Yeah.
So, they saw the issue and decided to put me into the school, because I guess it was also a thing when it came to how I learn. And then, if anything, they had a better understanding of how to teach, young Black boys who, might be going through whatever it is, or might not be grasping things at that same level, or the lack of attention that they were giving us as well in the school system.
Yeah.
So that was a real catalyst into the molding of you know, of the man I am today.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Dope. Is that school still going, or?
Unfortunately,
because I never heard of it, to be honest.
Higher Marks. Oh,
No,
well,
no,
you'd
never.
be surprised. A lot of people from the community, if anything,
Yeah.
are aware of it. Now, Higher Marks isn't the only one.
Oh, there's
Right?
more in the city.
There are other ones. Yes,
Oh,
there
amazing.
are other ones. But it's one of those things. It's like it should really be publicized a lot more. But
I need to interview someone from the school.
100%. I mean, it was probably one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Yeah, because you're dealing with your own kind. And what else did you notice that the benefits that you got from going to an all black school?
So it was they were very strict.
Yeah.
A lot of cultural norms for us happen in those schools.
Yeah.
You know, be it the way they interact with us, the way they speak to us, the way it's all about excelling in there.
Yeah.
You know, that's their
And
expectation.
living to a standard.
Exactly. You know,
Okay.
they set the standard, and it's a high standard.
Yeah.
Right. Your expectations are, you know, you dress well.
Yeah.
You know, you're clear with your communication.
Makes
You
sense.
know, how we write, how we address the teachers, everything is out of respect.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. That's exactly what it is. You don't even get a chance to, you know, try to get disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, not at all.
That's amazing, though.
No, it is. And on top of that, it's, you know, they have, you know, smaller classrooms. So the focus is a lot more on the students individually, as opposed to, you know, the larger classes where students get left out and things like that. Certain things go unnoticed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very personal.
Okay, dope. So I believe entertainment's sort of like running our side of the world right now, right? And our black men and our black women are being portrayed a certain way because of the music right now, and all the young boys and young girls are looking up to these people. But your mission is so unique and it's so different. So why is the way you portray black men so important for mainstream media?
Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to shift this perception of this one way of what a black man looks like or what a black man does.
Yeah.
Right. The range that we have as a people it's a lot larger than media shows, right?
100%.
So it's more than just athletes.
Yeah.
It's more than just musicians. And that's not taken away from those things that we flourish in, right? Those are our God-given talents. We are the seasoning to the world.
Yeah,
right?
literally.
You know, be it from the continent,
Yeah.
be it, you know, from the Caribbean,
Yeah.
and be it, you know, within North America. We continue to shake the world.
Yes.
And so the unfortunate thing is, yes, a lot of the world will try to, you know, fit us into this box and try to tell us, oh, well, you guys can only be that. Well, even if that is what we can only be, we are going to continue to excel at it, right?
Exactly.
But just like everything else, we're going to continue to excel at. So it's just about, you know, us telling our stories. That's what it's about.
Being our own narrative.
Exactly. You know, I get to tell you a story, you get to tell me your story, and then we get to continue to share our story.
Exactly.
Right. So yes, that essentially is what it is.
Okay, because I do think the mainstream media is poisoning, just even for like men and even just attracting women. And always, I remember women growing up always wanted that certain image of a guy, but if you don't fit that, then it's you're looked down because you're square. But there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it at all. And that's the beautiful thing. You know, when it comes to, like I said, like when it comes to Black Men Style is that network of our black men really getting to dive in with each other and, you know, show each other, you know, new things, different things. It just shows you like how vast we are.
Yeah.
So just like you said, there was always that perception of a certain kind of guy that these women want, but it's like, you know, especially, you know, when we have the shoots, it's like we have so many, right? We have so many brothers. You know, which one you want? So yeah.
Okay, dope. So you run a plethora of events throughout the year, right? And what inspired you to create these types of events? And actually, what types of events do you run for the people that don't know?
Okay, so and to be honest, this is the first year for those events.
Really?
This was the first time. It was the first
But
time.
it looks like you've been, maybe because I just got familiar with you. So it looks like you've been doing this. That's good. Clap that up.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
That's good. Okay, so yeah, tell us about it.
So outside of the unity shoots, the Black Men Style unity shoots, the first one we gave it was more of an introduction. We started it was last year.
Yeah.
It was on Black Men Connect.
Okay.
So what that was is more of a mental health conversation, right? So it was having brothers come together, you know, and being able to get a bit more vulnerable outside of, you know, the unity shoots.
Okay.
Right? So it was a bit more
intimate.
personal, more intimate. Exactly. So we gave the introduction last year.
Okay.
And then as this year came about, it was Juneteenth that weekend.
Okay.
Which was also the weekend of Father's Day weekend as well. So I was, you know, prior to that, I was trying to think, I was like, you know, what else can we do? What else could we really do to you know, to shake it up, you know, give it something different.
Yeah.
A lot of the sisters in the community were always asking like, oh, why can't we come to your events? Like that. I'm like, listen, you know, the time will come, but right now this space really is for our Black men, right? Because there are
which
no
is
other
needed.
spaces. Exactly, which is 100% needed. So we, you know, I was like, okay, you know what? First things first, like I love art. I love Black art.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
You know, be it digital, you know, be it photography. I love Black art. So I was like, you know what? There's a lot of Black artists, you know, within our community, that have never gotten the chance to display their work outside of, you know, their own personal spaces.
Yes.
A lot haven't gotten the chance to display their work in you know, in an exhibit, if anything. And one of the main catalysts, you know, that really, one of the main reasons that it came about was, I remember when I was younger, and it just goes back to my parents. I remember, you know, my parents had kind of, you know, just kind of redecorated the house and everything like this. And my father went out, now just to kind of give you a background. Now my father is from Cameroon, Central West Africa.
Okay, wow.
My mom's from Guyana, South America. You know, yeah. So I'm half and half. So, you know, I've gotten the chance to experience both cultures.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad, you know, went out, and our home has always had a bit of an Afrocentric look to it.
Oh, dope.
Right. And my father went out, and he had bought this if I'm remembering correctly, it was a giraffe. Just a skinny little wooden giraffe.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes, exactly. And when he bought it, and he just brought it home, and I remember my mom was like, "Where did you get that from?" And then he was like, "What do you mean where I got it from?" He's like, I brought it for the house.
Yeah.
She's like, "But where did you buy it from?" And he's like, "I bought it from the store." Yeah. Why? And she's like, and she grabbed it and she turned it over, and it says made in China, right? And now, not taking away from the fact that, you know, the stuff can be made anywhere, but our house was about having Afrocentric, African Black made art, right?
So she was on it.
Oh, she was on it. Yes, yeah. Exactly. Because we even had these statues in the house that we grew up with.
Yeah.
That were made in Cameroon that my parents had brought over.
Okay,
so
amazing.
My mom was always very intentional with these things.
Yes.
And so she's like, take it back. You know, she said, take it back. And so at the time, you know, we were younger. Yeah. I was like, I didn't understand. I'm like, why? We're like, why is mom being like this?
Yeah.
But now you look into today's time, a lot of Black art is remade by everybody else, right? 100%. So everybody's making money off of our community,
100%,
except for us.
Exactly.
So I was like, yo, we're gonna have an art exhibit, right? We're gonna have Black artists and they're going to present their work. But of course you have to have a theme to it.
Yes.
Black men style.
Yeah.
So the theme to it was our perspective of Black men through art.
Okay.
Right.
Nice.
So it is our perspective, not anybody else's perspective.
Yeah.
It's our perspective. And so I think we had about 12 artists.
Okay.
12 artists. We did it at on the exhibition grounds. And yeah, it was amazing. Like the expectation for the turnout I was really expecting like maybe 100, 150 people to come out. We had 300 people.
Wow. Amazing, bro.
300 people.
Seriously.
And even on up till the Friday, because we had on the Saturday, on the Friday, we had it hit about like 200, which I was shocked.
Yeah.
But on the day of, it was like 100 tickets sold.
Jeez.
It was just boom, boom, boom. Not even tickets sold. People were just coming in, paying cash. Like,
yeah.
It was amazing.
Amazing.
And it was an amazing experience overall. Everybody loved it. We had, live painting as well.
Yeah.
Had performances as well. So had 2 vocalists and a poet.
Okay.
Right.
That was the one that just passed. This was last.
What stemmed from that was
the
a poetry event.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Exactly. So yeah, that's essentially that's how the art exhibit came about. So it was titled Black Frame. So our perspective of Black men.
And no one can tell you your stories.
Nobody else can tell us their story.
Amazing. Right. So I was trying to plan a pop-up experience from the summer, right? And I don't know how to really run events. It's a lot of work. So I buckled. So I just said, you know what? I'm calling this off. I'm going to plan this for next year. What goes into your planning? Because I wanted to pick this is sort of a selfish episode because I want to pick your brain about
no worries.
Planning your event and like how far back are you planning? Are you trying to get funding for it? Or like, how does that all work for you?
So I'll be honest and I'll be very honest with you. Okay. There hasn't been any funding. Really? There hasn't been. None of them. Everything out of pocket.
Jeez.
Everything out of pocket. Now I've been working on getting funding because I guess the toughest part in the beginning was trying to explain what Black Men Style was. Yeah. And what it was going to be about
to corporations. And
exactly.
Like that. Okay.
Of course, during the whole George Floyd era, we were getting interviews left, right, and center. That was great. Yeah. But it was like, okay, well, how are we going to continue to help the community, right? Yes. So, went about trying to get funding. Nothing came through. Well, things didn't come through, as I had hoped. I was like, okay, well, you know what? Let's do these events. If anything, it can help drive,
attention.
A bit more attention, but then also get some more funding, so we can do more. Yeah. So, now as for, this isn't something I recommend for anybody, but how I've been doing it because, I have, I say I because, I am, Mr. Black Men Style. Yeah. But how I've gone about it is, I think with a lot of what I've done, there's a need for these things, right? And the same thing for what you do, there's very much so a need. So I wish you spoke to me then because I would tell you don't buckle. Okay. Because your event would have been successful.
Appreciate that.
100%. And so the planning that goes into it, it's pretty much just getting the word out there. Okay. Right? It's doing the necessary things, using your social media accordingly. Yeah. Right. Letting people know, getting your community supporters around you to help push it out. So as for the planning, I want to say the planning for me, it's probably like probably like maybe I want to say a month and a half to 2 months prior.
Oh, so you work under pressure.
I work under pressure. That's and crazy. It's crazy. I know. That's why I'm trying to say like I don't recommend it. Yeah. But it's like that's just how I am.
Because I was months out and I was feeling overwhelmed because I'm just worried about. I care about like I don't want to say user or client, but just people experience. I just want to make sure if they pay their money, they got their money's worth, right? So that's why I was just feeling so overwhelmed. And obviously picking event spaces and stuff like that is kind of tricky with sometimes. So a month and a half.
Like I'll be honest, like, okay, so for the art exhibit, like I was trying to work out the final details here and there. I wasn't going to push anything until I locked in the space.
Okay.
So I probably locked in the space maybe like a month before. And then I got
Holy smokes.
I got the advertisements out 3 weeks before.
Yeah.
And it was the summertime. It was something that was going to be new for everybody, a new experience.
Yes.
So, and when it comes to, a lot of people talk about, oh, well, the Black community doesn't support, the Black community doesn't support. No, they will support. They will support. Don't knock them down. Don't knock the community down before exactly. Something. Don't do that. Don't do that, because when you go in with that thinking, things aren't going to go well. But I'm living proof.
Yeah, literally.
Right? I'm living proof that the community has supported.
Yeah.
And it's not, a lot of people will see like, oh, they think it's just, Black men supporting. I'm telling you, Black women are the reason Black men's style is what it is.
Wow. Amazing. And why? Elaborate on that.
Honestly, Black women want to see us flourish.
Yeah.
They want to see us flourish in every way possible. And what I hate so much is the way social media continues to pin us against each other. I hate it so much. What
are some examples that you're seeing that irritate you?
Man, some of these podcasts, man. Oh my God. Some of these podcasts.
Talk about it.
It's crazy, to see on these podcasts, Black men, just bashing.
Yeah, I hate that too, to be honest. It'll never be on this show.
No, and the thing is, I've been invited to some of them, just to give my take, and I just don't go. I won't go. I'll turn it down because I'm not a fan of it. I will never speak down on a Black woman.
Yeah,
I won't.
100%.
And the same thing, like I won't speak down on Black men.
100%.
I won't. And it's one thing if we're having that conversation amongst it's just like when you're having conversations amongst your family, it's amongst your family.
Exactly.
It's not amongst it's
for
not
everyone
for
else.
Exactly.
To be a laughing stock.
Exactly. To give their perceptions, and it just feeds into it all. Exactly. Right. We're trying to change that narrative.
Yes.
Right. Other communities, believe me, are not talking crazy about each other.
Yeah.
Outside,
like this.
Right. Exactly. So it's for shock value and everything like that. But that's why it's taking a little more time for us to get onto the same wavelengths, right? Because of these things. So, but I think Black women. I mean, you see it even from the Black Panther Party.
Yes.
Right. The Black Panther Party is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Yes. The forefront of it was Black men, right? 100%. But the reason it was able to run the way it was able to run was because of the Black women.
Amazing.
Right? So all of those Black men that stood forward, it was same thing, goes for Martin Luther King. It was his Black wife who stood there and supported him, through it all. Malcolm X, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
It was his Black wife.
Yeah.
She held on to her daughters.
Yeah.
Their lives are being threatened, but they stuck by.
And she made a commitment. I remember I read his whole book too. Yeah.
There you go. It's a lot of the movements that happened, it was Black women who pushed and supported and made sure that we did not crumble.
100%.
Right. So
are you just following that blueprint and kind of?
So it's not even following the blueprint. It's just that's what it is. That's what it is. It's like, and I don't think a lot of the Black women they're not thinking about it. They're just doing it
from their nurturing soul.
It's just from their nurturing soul.
Wow.
So Black men's style is what it is because of Black women.
Amazing. So what are some challenges that you face now, like even trying to run these events in the early stages? Because I didn't even know that you're in your early stages, but obviously there's challenges to everything. So what type of challenges are you facing?
What type of challenges? I would say, what type of challenges?
Or are you just gunning right now?
Honestly, I can't even say I've had any, crazy challenges. I guess it's just me getting getting better organized with certain things.
Okay.
So that, we continue to push forward. So, like I said, with the art exhibit, told you, started advertising 3 weeks prior.
Yeah.
And then boom. Then after the art exhibit, what did we do after the art exhibit? We had the poetry event.
Yeah.
And that was our perspective of Black men through poetry.
Yes.
Right. And
that was the one that just passed.
That was the one that just passed. Yeah. So we had that event, and now the planning with that happened a little earlier, only because I was very keen on how I wanted it to look. Right.
Okay.
I wanted that Love Jones feel.
Right. Back in the day.
Exactly. Right. And that was what I wanted for our community over here to experience. Yeah. So, yeah, finding the venue, that was a Black owned venue, East 2020. Okay. Was where we had that. And, the turnout was amazing with that one as well. I mean, I had a feeling we were going to have a good turnout, but I wasn't sure. Yeah. Right.
How much was that for the poetry? How much people turned out? Because I seen some snippets. I was like, oh, this guy is killing it right now.
We hit over 300 again. Jeez. We hit over 300 again. And it wasn't the same faces. Okay. It was new faces.
Amazing.
Right. Because now we're in 2 different spaces. There are people who love art, but then there are people who love poetry. Right. As for poets, I think we had 14 poets.
And were all the poets men, or you had some women too?
No, we had women too, because the perspective of Black men doesn't only come from a man. Right. Ooh. It comes from a woman as well. Yes. Right. So be it her experiences, be it her father, her boyfriend, her brother, her husband, her friend. Yeah. That's we're telling it from, we're trying to hit it from all points. So that was another amazing event. And once again, of course, we had the poets, we had live music. It was an amazing event.
So what are you thinking about prior to the event to ensure that everybody has a positive experience? Because there's some events that I've been to personally that I show up, I'm like, man, this is kind of a money grab, So how do you ensure that?
Man, I really push into making sure that the experience is different from what they experience everywhere else. Right. Like, for example, I'll just use the art exhibit, for example. I want to say out of all of the artists that were there, I think only about 2 maybe have ever actually had their art in an exhibit.
Oh, wow.
And then also and one thing that I also made sure was that that people knew that art was on sale. Okay. Right. So it wasn't just about displaying the work. Yes. It was also making sure that they got their money out of it.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
And some of them got quite a few thousand out of it.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah. So it's making sure that the Black dollar continues to circulate, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So it's overall, it's just understanding that you're giving a different experience
and value
and value 100%. We had we also had a wine sponsor.
Oh, amazing.
Right. So everybody got wine.
Yeah.
Right. We had hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
It was excellent. There you go. Yeah. It was excellent. That's what it was.
Because I've been over like the club phase for a long time, so I'm searching now. I'm 33, so I'm searching for new things to do in the city, and I will be at your events coming up. Right. And I just feel like your type of events hits that spot for people like me because I'm over the popping bottles and stuff a long time ago.
Brother, don't get me started. Don't even get me started. I know, that stuff still excites some people, but it's not exciting for me. Yeah, it's not, and just like you, it's not exciting for you, and it's not exciting for a lot of people.
Yes.
Right. Like I said, it's about changing that narrative. That is something we've seen continuously. We see it in music videos. Yeah. We see it on social media. Yeah. It's our community just pouring their money into everything else except ourselves. Exactly. Now, it's one thing if you know that you're going into these Black establishments and spending your money, then it's continuing within the community, right? But I think, unfortunately, not too many people are that intentional and really don't think about, things like that.
100%.
And the goal is to make sure that that is what our community continues to do.
100%.
Right? Because like I said, now for the art exhibit, unfortunately, like there isn't a Black art gallery large enough
Yeah. For
in the
everybody.
city. Exactly. Right. But regardless, you know, it made sure that when the weekend I was doing it, it was an intentional weekend.
Yes.
Right. However, the poetry event was at a Black owned venue.
Okay,
Right.
amazing.
So yeah, that was the beautiful thing, was knowing that the money was going back in there, and it was just the love and support that I got from them
Yeah.
was unreal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I actually have a story that actually sticks out in my head, and I'm a videographer and photographer, right? And I was doing a gig at someone's house, and the person that owned the house, I didn't know him, and I was just kind of shooting out of his house, and he was the owner of a famous club that I used to go to back in the day.
Okay.
Right? And his comment really stuck, like it lives rent free in my head, because back in the day, I was reckless with my money, spending, buying bottles or whatever. And his comment was, thank you for supporting my lifestyle. And I've never forgotten that. And he's not of our race. And I was like, interesting. Very, very interesting. Again, I want to applaud you for doing the events that you're doing, because our dollar is circulating, and that is important. And we are doing it still through entertainment, right?
No, exactly. So, and like you said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, and just to kind of continue through, after the poetry event, then we brought Black Men Connect back, right? That was the mental health event. So we partnered with Canadian Mental Health Association.
Amazing.
Thank you. And we had one of their reps who came and spoke on what he touched on anxiety. So how brothers can really
Open up.
well, not just open up, but understand, I guess get a better understanding of when you are dealing with anxiety and how to deal with it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then we had David Grant. He is he's a therapist as well. Now he hit on mental health more from an Afrocentric point of view.
In
Right.
what way, if you?
So talking about the historics when it comes to mental health,
Okay.
not just going all the way back to Africa,
Yes.
right, and how mental health is dealt with in Africa. It's as opposed to the one-on-one. It's more of
Community.
It's more community, exactly,
Makes
right.
sense.
It's more of a group dynamic, and the unfortunate thing is our community being so far removed, a lot of people aren't aware of these things, right? So it was letting our guys know, like, yeah, like it doesn't just have to be you and a therapist,
Yeah.
right? It could be you amongst a group. And one thing that I've really gotten the chance to do is go to there's a men's group that Troy Crossfield runs,
Okay.
called Iron Sharpen Iron. And prior to my event, I'd never been to a men's group.
Yeah.
Right. I'm running these men's events,
Yeah.
but I've never taken the time.
Participated.
Exactly. I've never participated.
How's that?
And amazing.
Jeez.
Amazing.
Vulnerable?
Amazing. Vulnerable. Brothers really get to open up,
Yeah.
and, share, like, and I guess a lot of people don't realize, and I mean, this goes for women as well, realize what a Black man is going through in a day-to-day basis, right? So that's it's really been a big part of, like, he has it the first Friday of every month, and I mean, I've become a regular goer.
Oh, wow.
And my wife's been a huge supporter of it.
Wow.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I've been encouraging other brothers to come through, and brothers have come through,
Wow.
and to see the change
Yeah.
that's happening just by being able to share your experience,
Yeah.
or hear that there are other brothers who are going through these things,
Yes.
as well, right? So it's definitely been a big part. So it just, we can't better ourselves as a community if we don't better ourselves from the inside
Yes.
before we try to better ourselves from the outside.
Mhm.
We can continue to dress up,
Yeah.
but that's just covering.
Yeah. We
everything,
only
right?
implode after a while.
Exactly.
Okay. So how do you what do you think your message will be to that like young Black brother that maybe that you want to get into one of these programs and is kind of lost right now?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I think for a lot of these young brothers, it's showing them.
Yeah.
Right. You can give them a message, but sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes you need to show them.
How though?
And well,
yeah,
our unity shoots.
Okay. True.
Right.
True. I seen the little kids there.
You go. There
okay.
you go. Right. It was, and just like you said, you saw the little kids there. Their mothers knew that this was an important event, so they made women contact me. Oh, can I bring my son?
Amazing.
I was like, yeah, of course, because then from that age they get to come and see, right? And it's not just coming and seeing, but it's how the other brothers interact with them. These women were able, they would just walk away because they're like, I can see that my son is okay.
Wow.
You know, amongst these men.
Wow.
I don't know them, but the way they're treating them. Exactly. These guys, you know, they're making adjustments to their jackets, making adjustments to their ties, doing all, like, it's just that fatherly instinct that they try to say that we don't have.
Yes.
It comes out right there. Right.
That's powerful.
That big brother, that big Black brother, you know, it just, to see that, I'm telling you, it's an amazing thing. And then just to experience that, right? As a young Black boy, it's a beautiful thing.
Wow. And you know what? And I 100%, not to say that you're lying or anything, but I can 100% back that up because I don't know if you remember this, but there's one thing that you taught me, because I'm not really a fashionable person. Like, I'm not into the fact, like, you know, that's just not my thing personally. But when I first met you at Sam's Legacy thing, and you said to me like, hey, you know, we never button the second button.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
I knew from that, like, this guy is different. I'm like, thank you for that gem, because I didn't know, right? And so now when you say it, I'm like, yeah, I could see how that works. You know, so,
it's just small suit etiquette stuff. That's all it is, right? It's, and I always try to let brothers know, like, you know, be it don't button the bottom button. That, or even on the tail of your suit jacket. Sometimes it's threaded. Pop it open so that the vents can open up, right? It gives you more comfort in your jacket as well.
Yes.
So yeah, just these little things. Yeah.
Okay, dope. So I know that you're getting in, you just mentioned it, that you're doing, you're getting into the mental health space, right? I want to know, like, how do you handle your bad days today?
How do I handle my bad days? Oh man, how do I handle my bad days? Honestly, when I'm down, I guess I get a lot of time to think to myself, but then I also have a lot of brothers around me that I can talk to.
Amazing.
You know, about certain things. Now, I believe in therapy, 100%. But for me, because I'm so lucky to have so many brothers around me and the right brothers around me that I can talk to, that is my therapy. Exactly. So I personally don't have to pay for therapy. You know, and I mean, other than that, you know, I have a very supporting wife.
Yes, 100%, amazing.
Right. Amazing. And it's not that, you know, I try to put everything on her, right? But she, you know, she knows what she can handle, she knows what she can't handle. And I know what she can handle, what she can't handle. So boundaries. Exactly, boundaries, right? So for the things that I can talk to her about, then yeah, it's, you know, it's there. So yeah, it's having the community, you know, my parents as well. Yes. Right. Because of the relationship I have with my parents, I can definitely talk to them about certain things. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Amazing. So where do you want to take these unique events? Like, where do you see it?
So we did have a unity shoot in Ottawa.
Oh, wow.
We've done Ottawa as well.
So maybe going cross country, or?
So not across the country. Oh, sorry. My apologies. Yes, definitely taking it across the country. Yeah. Across Canada. Amazing. That is the goal. It's doing this for our Black men, you know, in the country. Yeah. Now, Americans have so many platforms. They have so many. But, you know, there's like little to none over here. Yeah. So that is overall the goal, because I have a pretty decent American following, and they'll always, you know, ask me about, you know, putting their content on my page, but I'm like, no, you know what, this
strictly
is for
Canadians.
Exactly, this is strictly
that's
Canadians.
What this is for.
Exactly.
To be honest,
there you go, there you go. And not saying, you know, there's any kind of division or anything, you know, but it's just we don't have that over here. There's so much American content that's pushed over here. Yeah. You know, be it like we have so many issues, and we have our own statistics and everything like that, but it just, there's so much spoken about when it comes to Black America as opposed to Black Canada.
Yes.
Right. And then that's why Canada continues to be able to say things like, well, this is Canada, you know, that kind of stuff doesn't happen in Canada because it's not being shown, it's not being spoken about. So just really try to keep it very Canadian based. So the hope is to we're supposed to be in Montreal. We were supposed to already be in Montreal. So, you know, be it the shoot or, you know, the exhibit or the poetry event, you know, do it in Montreal.
Is everything going to be around like art based and mental health based, or
mental health, art, business? We're going to tap into business, so don't worry, we are going to talk.
Well, marriage too?
Marriage. Okay, so now my thing when it comes to talking about, you know, relationships and stuff like that is it's a lot. It's a lot. It is a lot. And I've had a lot of people who have come to me about wanting to, you know, be it do like speed dating things and everything like that, because, you know, they see the type of Black men that come and everything like that. But I try to stay away from it only because I know it could get
messy.
It can get a little messy. I'm trying not to say it, but it can get a little messy, right? So I'm trying to, you know, stay on track with what I'm trying to do. And then if anybody, you know, wants to say that, if they want to come to the event and then connect with those guys, so be it. You know, perfectly fine. Do that.
You just don't want to be the reason.
No.
Okay, fair. So honestly, when it's all said and done, right? How do you want to be remembered?
How do I want to be remembered? Honestly, just as that brother that just made it happen. That's all it is. You know, that's all it is.
I feel like you're a trailblazer for Canada right now and what you're doing. To be honest, I don't care. I'm getting your flowers now.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Know?
Thank you. I don't know. I guess and you know what's crazy? Because I thought about it the other day. You know, like I'm so happy with all that I've accomplished. You know, within the even just this year alone. But it all, you know, had to start from somewhere. And a lot of people, you know, their assumption is that like, this started, you know, during the whole, you know, George Floyd, you know, but I was like, no, this started before, right? I've been aware that, you know, we need to do the necessary things, right? So you start building from there, and we are at where we are now. So the way I want to be remembered is, man, just as that brother that really made it happen, you know, not somebody who spoke about it. Because I don't talk about my event before they happen. I don't go to people and be like, well, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do.
When it's done and ready.
Look, I just, hey, you know what? This is book. Boom. This is what we're doing. You know? And it's like, everyone's like, oh, well, wow. I haven't been to anything like this. And, you know, once it happens and everybody's like, wow, this was, you know, it was a really good experience. I'm like, hey, you know, I'm a person who likes to make it happen. That's all it is.
Amazing. So there's two questions that I ask every guest, right? And the first one is, what is the best advice that you received, and what is the worst advice that you received? And obviously you don't have to say any names.
The best advice that I received. Okay, I can't say it's one of like just kind of comes to the top of my head. I'll use my father. I remember I went out. I was invited to go out somewhere, and you know, this person told me like, you know, get dressed up, everything like that, and I got dressed up, you know, and when I got there, like it was just me that was really dressed up. Nobody else was there, and I was just like, I was annoyed because I was like, man, like I was all dressed up and everything like that. And so I went home, you know, we kind of spoke about it, and I was like, you know, like I was the only person dressed up in there. He's like, why are you complaining? He's like, there's nothing wrong with being overdressed. Being underdressed is the problem. People are going to remember the way you look, the way you carry yourself in that room. They're always going to remember that. True. Other than you going to that room and just blending in with everybody else. So I just took that, and
you see it today.
There you go. The type of treatment that you receive, because just because of the way people perceive you, because of the way you're dressed, it's very, very, very different. Be it you walking through the mall, be it you at the airport, you will end up getting I won't say you'll get away with things, but yeah, you will get away with things.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, the way celebrities, they don't spend their own money.
Yeah.
Right. Simply because they are celebrities. So somebody sees you, they see how you're dressed, they see how they carry yourself, the way you walk, the way you talk. They will treat you a certain way, and it's going to be a way that you are going to like and you're going to love.
Yes.
Right. So that's, and I would say like one of the worst when it comes to advice. I would say maybe, I wouldn't say advice, but I'd just say people just not believing. People just not believing in you know what I'm capable of. I want to say, you know, taking it back to that that person who, you know, worked at the TDSB, who was I think it was my guidance counselor, who didn't believe, you know, that I would make it past grade 10.
Jeez.
Right. And it's, you know, I made sure I graduated in time, you know, finished grade 12. Like I said, never suspended, nothing like that. You know, ended up finishing college, finished a little later, but regardless, I finished, right? So, you know, and then, you know, running my own business, you know, running my own not-for-profit organization. If I could only remember her name,
Call her
I'm
out.
telling you, man, I'd call you. And, you know, and just let her know, like, you know, this is why, you know, she is one of the many reasons why so many of our Black boys didn't end up becoming the Black men that they you know could have been.
Yeah.
Right. Off of, you know, things like that. You know, luckily enough, my mother was so grounded, and she said, like, no, like, that's not going to be my son. Right. That's your thought. And it's unfortunate because her thoughts are poisonous. Right. I don't know how many other Black boys, how many other Black mothers, Black fathers she could have swayed into you know, thinking that, and now them not being able to handle things properly,
100%.
you know, taking it out on their child. Oh, this is what your teacher said, so this is what you're going to become. And they speak those type of words into their child, and then, you know, so it's when they say, you know, when they talk about systemic racism, a lot of people don't understand how you know,
deep
how deep it is. Exactly. Right. And I think, especially because of the relationship that I have with my mother, she was able to tell me these things at a young age. My apologies. And, you know, let me know, like, this is what they think of you. But that's not where you're going to be. Yeah. Right. So
a lot of your foundation and a lot of your strength and comes from your parents. I can hear it. I can hear it.
Yeah, 100%. You know, be it them and even, like, you know, my sister, my twin sister.
Yeah. Who's older?
I am by 4 minutes.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, 4 minutes. Can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I am older. And she actually runs Black Book Fair.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So briefly, can you talk about the...
So Black Book Fair is it's a literary portion to Black Men Style. Yeah. Right. So what it you know, I would love, I guess, if anything, for her to be able to come on here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. It's done. It's done.
Okay, perfect.
It's done.
But she has been a huge supporting role in my life. And it's
That's
funny.
amazing.
No, thank you. And I always let people know, like, you know, from a very young age, we're siblings, everything like that. But my sister was the person who taught me how to read time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When I couldn't, you know, I couldn't understand. I couldn't, you know, when looking at the clock, I'm like, I just don't get it. You know, we were very young, but it was my sister. Wow. You know, and that's what I talk about, you know, when it comes to the way Black women, my sister has been that driving force in my life as well. Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So, yeah.
Okay. So on the show, we like to make predictions, and I want to play this in like 5 years. I'm like, Sam did say he was going to do that. Where do you see your 5-year plan?
5-year plan. 5-year plan. I want to say we're going to be at the point. 5-year plan? No, I want to say Black Men Style.
At this rate?
Will birth. I want to say it will birth its own Black focus school.
Wow. Yeah. That's big.
I want to say that.
Okay. Yeah. Because honestly, if I knew about these Black focused schools from time, like I'd be super interested in that, you know, because I feel like we need those schools because we're the only ones that can ultimately heal ourselves, you know. And I personally, when it comes to like these tragic incidents with like police and what have you, I'm not a march up and down type of person personally, you know, and I'm not knocking anyone that does, but I rather see actions like that or actions like, you know, speaking in these type of settings. So I think that would be groundbreaking.
No, 100%. And, you know, just like you said, you know, you weren't during that whole time when like I had shut down during that time.
Interesting.
Like, mentally, I was so exhausted because these are things that I've always been thinking about, right? I've always, my mind has always been on the betterment of our community. You know, how I can educate myself, understanding the things, like I was like, when that whole, you know, George Floyd situation happened, and, you know, it was just like, my mind shut down because it was very overwhelming. Unfortunately, I wasn't out there marching, you know, and I thank all of those who really did go out and did do those things. But then there are, you know, just like as you're doing right now, everybody knows their strengths and knows their weaknesses, right?
True.
And knows what they can do. There are those who are out there and march, and then there are those who are handling things on their platforms, right? And yes, all of that happened. And it's not currently happening over here, but the conversation needs to continue to happen.
100%.
Right. And so, you know, with what we do, you know, we're able to, if not have that direct conversation, we're able to start a new conversation. But it's always going to be, you know, for the betterment.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Okay. I want to thank you for coming because I got a lot of game this podcast, and honestly, I really support we support your movement.
Thank you.
And I'll be definitely either a part of or, you know, following closely. I'm going to attend your next one.
Thank you.
Is it a New Year's one?
So, there's a New Year's one. No, that's so we are partnered with Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporation.
Okay.
The Canadian chapter.
What is that about?
So Omega Psi Phi Fraternity is it's a fraternity.
Okay.
It's a Black fraternity. Started off in the States.
Okay.
You know, they are international amongst the world.
Okay.
But they do have a Canadian chapter, the Canada Qs. And we have a very close relationship. And the New Year's party of the New Year's Eve ball. Yeah. It's a fundraiser.
Okay, amazing.
Right? So essentially, yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope.
Sorry, I was a little, you know, I was trying to find my words. Sorry.
You're good. Before we get out of here though, let everybody know how they can contact you or stay updated with the movement.
Okay, so I guess as of right now, the easiest way to keep up with everything is by following us on Instagram. It's BLKMENSTYLE, and that goes for our website as well, www.blkmenstyle.com. Now we are working on a few things right now. We are actually looking at updating the website.
Okay.
But then we should also be we're working on launching an app as well.
Ooh, right. What is that? Can we know what's in that? We got a gem.
And well, you see, that's the thing. You know, like I said, like I don't like, you know. But regardless, it's gonna happen. Yeah. Right. So we don't have an exact drop date as yet, but it's so that everybody, because a lot of people are always like, you know, how do you find out about these things? Right. Just like you.
Okay.
So, well, for those who will download the app, then they'll get notifications as to when things are happening, where it's happening, you know, ticket purchases, things like that.
Yeah.
Be it our mental health events. We're looking to have a directory on there so that, you know, people can get in contact, you know, be it with, you know, therapists, Black male therapists.
Amazing.
Right.
Amazing.
You know, be it, you know, lawyers, if, you know, people are looking for Black doctors, things like that. So we're going to have a directory on there that is, you know, that's not just for our men, but, you know, for the women as well.
Okay.
Right. But for, you know, for our Black community or anybody else who wants to support the Black community.
Okay.
Right, so,
okay.
yeah.
When? Oh yeah, you don't have a drop date.
No, we don't have a drop date as yet. We're still, working on those things. That's something like we really just started working on.
Okay, cool.
So yeah,
it's at a
yeah.
baby stage right now.
It's still the baby stage, but it's gonna happen.
Okay,
It's gonna happen.
lit.
Yeah.
So when you drop that, be sure to come back on.
100%.
We'll definitely talk about it.
100%.
But again, I want to thank you for coming on today. And again, we follow your movement. And
Thank you.
Like I see big things. It reminds me of like you said, you mentioned earlier that Black Panther movement. Plus, I thought of Nation of Islam back in the day. Those are the type of movements because it's just like real straight and I don't want to say clean cut, but like.
No, but essentially that's what it is, right? Because what we wanted to do was also make sure that it's something that when people see it, they gravitate toward it because they like the way it looks.
Yes.
Right. So something had to start it up.
Yeah.
Right. If we could have started it off with hoodies and everything like that, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it wouldn't have gotten the same.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it wouldn't have. So
this is your unique lane.
There you go. So we have a lot of things planned to come about in the new year. I don't have exact dates as yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned.
Jeez.
A lot more in store.
Okay. Thank you. Looking forward to it.
No problem, brother. No problem.
Everything black on black. Nigga, if I studied that facts on facts. Got a lot of smoke, pack for